Hello, this is Tiffany Bell. In this video, we will talk about how to write Python. Since the goal of this course is to use Python to write the actual code, why don't we just start to write code together? In this video, I'm going to show you how to write a Python code as an interactive server, as well as another Python code that will interact with the server. Particularly in this demo, I'm going to just use standard in and out to be the server standard in and out. So I'm not going to touch the network part, but later on in another video, I will show you how to redirect this standard in and out to network in and out. Okay, so first, let's start with writing the server. I'm going to open a new file and start to write server over here. So the idea of the server is that the server will be read the input from the client or whoever's going to interact with it, and then just simply echo the input received from the above. So usually when we write Python code, we like to still have a main function, although it is not required to have a main function. To be clear, I will still have a main function doing this read and echo behavior. Before that, also I'm going to have the program to enter the main function. Okay, so let's do this simple main function. It should be pretty straightforward. So we first read the message from the future client. And then we just print out the message. And here, I'm going to use format string to print the message. The input function will read the string coming up from the client or the whoever interacts with the server. And also, it will output this message to the client so that the client will know what they need to input. The client's input will be saved into the variable called MSG message, and later on in this print statement, we're going to print MSG followed by this format string. As you already know, in Python, you don't need to declare message as what it's supposed to be in C code. So instead, you can just use and define the variable directly. Okay, so this is very easy. Later on, when we run this server, we hope that this server program can be run as executable. So the way that we use to let it run as just like a normal script or say executable program is by adding this prefix. Okay, it needs to be added at the beginning of the file. So it means that when this program is executed, it should go to Python 3 in order to run this code properly. Now let's try to run it. Python 3, and then server.py. It will say, what do you want to say, right? And then just type some random message over there, and it will print back what we just typed with the message of you just said 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to change the mode of this file. so that it can be executed. So the way that we change it is to use chmod change mode plus X, meaning that it is added with this execution permission, and then we just run it. So that's the same as what we're doing with Python 3 /server.py. Okay, so now we have a very simple server, and next let's just write another program as the client. So for this client, I am going to introduce to you a very useful Python package that I've been always used in writing Python code, especially for the future binary analysis, reverse engineering, or hacking codes that you will need to write in this semester. The name of this package is called PwTools. And the way that you import a package in Python is that you can just use import pwn, or you can specify the function or the variable that you want to use from this package. So you can have from pwn import process. Process is the function that I'm going to use. Okay, so let's suppose that we're going to use this way, since I don't want to expose the other functions or variables from this library. I just want to be more specific. All right, similarly, I'm going to write the main function, but before that, I'm going to let Python code know that whenever it starts to execute, it needs to execute the main function. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to use this process function to call server.py. And this is exactly the reason why I want to make server.py executable, because I want to initiate a process with this executable server.py program. After that, the process will be running, and I can continue to use this R variable as the way to connect and interact with this process. So I'm gonna use send line, meaning that I'm gonna send a line of message to this process, which is represented with variable R. Say I'm gonna do hello. Followed by that, I'm gonna receive the message coming from the server. So I can just have a line is equal to r.receive line, meaning that it's going to receive a line from what it has received from the server, and in the end, I'm going to print it. Note that since I am using Python 3 instead of Python 2, for print statement, you have to have the parentheses. The original, like print line, this kind of statement will no longer work. Okay. Now we have the client, and as you see, the client in our current setup, it will call the server and then interact with the server. And you may realize that actually this is very different from a normal client. And the reason why we designed or show you in this way is because this will be very useful in the future when you try to interact with a program that you need to hack. So that's the reason why specifically use this client to call an executable and then to interact with it. And I hope that you can understand how to use Python and use Python in this way in order to begin your adventure of hacking binaries. All right, now let's just try to run it. I'm going to open a new terminal and try to run client. So as you can see over here, an output message with a B prefix over there, meaning that this message is in the type of byte. And this is a standard type that has been used in Python 3. And also before that message, you see there is a information message saying starting local process. And this message comes from the pownlib package. It will tell you that what you are calling process function and starting the actual process successfully. It will have this message popping up and telling you that the process has been started. All right, so this is for the Python 101 of how to write an interactive server and a client in Python. I hope that this will help you in the future when you use Python to write your binary analysis, reverse engineering, and hacking code.